Today we released an update to Roam42. It has some subtle but very powerful features, especially for those who love and live by the keyboard. Basically giving us keyboard shortcuts to a number of Roam features that usually require mouse clicks. If you come to the update log on my Roam public graph, you can see a list of things that have changed since the previous release just a few days ago. I'd like to demonstrate some of these to you now. The first you'll see is jump navigation. Basically, these are the keyboard shortcuts to quickly navigate, and it uses a set of sequenced keystrokes. I'll explain what that means. Roam42 refreshes itself on a page refresh. So I'm doing a refresh here. And in the lower right-hand corner, the Roam42 Startup message appears, and you may notice something new. The MetaJH Roam42 Jump Nav Help. MetaJH. It's a secondary help system for the new Jump Nav features. The new Jump feature uses the MetaJ key. Meta is a unique key for your operating system. For example, on the Mac, it's the command. Sometimes on a Windows computer, it's the Windows, and each device has its own unique key. Roam42 actually responds to MetaJ or Alt-J and Control-J. You have to experiment to find which one works. So on my keyboard, it's Alt-J. And we're using sequence keyboard commands. And what that means is you do one keystroke followed by another quickly, and it executes the command. This is similar to shortcuts in Gmail. So I want to bring up the Jump Nav Help, and that's Alt-J or MetaJ or Control-J, depending on your device. Release that, and then quickly type H. So Alt-J-H. Alt-J, release H. Watch me do that. Alt-J-H, and there's the menu. Alt-J, release H. There's the menu. It takes a little bit of getting used to because you have to do them in a sequence, but if you experiment for a few minutes, you'll get the rhythm, and your muscle memory will eventually kick in, and they'll move very, very fast. So let's run through the commands. Again, I'm going to press Alt-J-H. The Meta key on your keyboard will be different. You need to find it. Alt-J, Control-J, and Meta-J. And now you have a list of commands. So here are the page level commands. For example, I can quickly move to the top of the page, the bottom of the page. I can expand all blocks. I can collapse all blocks. I can toggle linked references at the bottom of this page. I can toggle unlinked references at the bottom of this page. And I can even open this page in the sidebar. Again, this is for people who really like to work with the keyboard, and it really streamlines navigation. So how does that work? I'm somewhere in my text. Let's go back here, somewhere in the text. Alt-J-T, that's the top command, Alt-J-T. If I want to go to the bottom, we see in the menu it's B, so Alt-J-B, and now I'm at the bottom of the page. I want to go back to the top, Alt-J-T. So very quick. Let's say I want to collapse all the blocks. As you saw in the help menu, it's C, so Alt-J-C. That collapse all. If I want to expand all, Alt-J, release Alt-J, and then E. Alt-J-E, expand all. Let's do Alt-J-O, open in the sidebar. Now, why would you want to do that? Sometimes I find myself doing context shifting. I'm working somewhere, but I don't really want to leave this place, but it's not my focus anymore. So I want to move it to the sidebar. So Alt-J-O opens it in the sidebar, and now I can navigate to some other page. Let me show you now the block level commands. So these are commands that will execute at the block that you're currently in. So for example, copy block ref. This, you have to come over here, right mouse click, copy block ref. Well, now Alt-J-R, that just copied it for you. So just to prove it to you, let me do a paste, and there it is. Let's say I want this one here, Alt-J-R, it's copied to memory. Now I can paste my block. So just a way of quickly grabbing the block, and then you can copy and paste that somewhere else. As well as at a block level, you have expand and collapse. So Alt-J-L, Alt-J-L, Alt-J-X will collapse and expand. You also have alignment keys here. So align left, center, right, justify. So for example, let's say I want this right aligned. that is Alt J3, Alt J3, and now that text is right aligned. I want it centered, Alt J2, Alt J2. I want it left aligned, Alt J1, or I want it fully justified, that's Alt J4, which doesn't make any difference on that node, but it will make difference on this node. Alt J4 justifies the text. And one final one is Alt J reaction. So Alt J A pulls up the reaction menu. Now I can add a reaction there. So just a quick way to navigate. My favorites really are copy, block, reference, collapse, and expand all, top and bottom. I move to those quite a bit. If you use the linked refs and unlinked refs frequently, it's also really nice that you can collapse and expand those at will. Let me demonstrate for you real quickly this toggle linked references and unlinked references. Somehow it's kind of cool. Alt J I, there's my linked references. Alt J I again, closes it. Alt J U expands unlinked references and closes it again. Nothing fancy, but maybe useful. Coming back to the updates page here, you'll see some changes to Live Preview. So this is a very popular feature, but it wasn't working for some. The Control-Shift-L key didn't work in some configurations, so we added Alt-L. So there's two ways to enable and disable Live Preview, Control-Shift-L, Alt-L. In addition, a lot of work went into supporting namespaces and complex page types. So let me toggle on Live Preview. Now it's on. So here we have a standard page. You see it hover, it opens up in Live Preview, but below it a namespace. Oh, there it's working. And here's like a complex page. It's crazy embeds with a page embedded inside another page embedded. So if I hover here, I see the page for the whole link. If I just want to see Evergreen notes, I can see that. And just namespace, I can see that. So one other interesting thing about Live Update is we've given you the ability to do some customizations. Many users have asked if they can have the ability to control the width and the height of the Live Preview window and even the delay. The delay is how long do you hover over the link before the Live Preview appears. So let me demonstrate I can do that. In fact, it's probably just easier to install in my Roam graph the code for Roam42. So you come up to the public graph for RoamHacker, go to instructions, Roam42, scroll down here, just easier, select some blocks. I'm going to hit copy, Control C, going to switch over to another graph that I'm testing with. Let's make a page. You can call this whatever you want. Now I'm going to paste that in. I want to make some changes. Now just as a reminder, you can disable Roam42 features. All features are enabled by default, but if you want to disable that, you can just come here and remove the 2 forward slashes in front of the feature name and disable it at next startup. Well, Roam42 has some default values that it uses for Live Preview. If you want to override those, you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to remove the 2 forward slashes. Now, we're getting into JavaScript land here. Sorry, Roamosphere, little nerd land, but this is how you can customize. You have to remove these bracket or forward slashes, and then you can customize. So I want this to be 400 pixels wide, 600 pixels high, and I'm going to change the delay to be 1 second. So now that's enabled. After you change your text, always click somewhere outside and make sure that it's green, that everything's been saved. So I'm just going to hit refresh because you have to refresh for these settings to take place. Let me turn on my JavaScript code. And now we are live. So let's go back to my daily notes page. I'm just going to double check that Live Preview is enabled. It's disabled. Let me re-enable it. There we go. And now, when I hover above, you see the new width and height, and also the delay of 1 second. So you can customize these settings for yourself, and you can tweak those settings. When you change it, just remember to make sure it gets saved, and then you have to do a refresh of Roam for the new settings to take effect. So for more information, come to my RoamHacker public Roam graph. I made a little shortcut roam42.com that'll redirect you to the Roam graph. In addition, here you'll find the installation instructions, and if you need some help or you have some feedback, come to the Slack forum that we use, Roam Research Setup, roamresearch.slack.com. There's a channel called Roam42, and there a number of us hang out, and we can help you out. In addition, before we wrap up, I just want to highlight one really great resource, RoamStack. They've got their membership services started up now, and they're getting going, and it really looks like it's going to be a good service. They're not paying me for this. They didn't ask me to promote it. I just think these are some good individuals. They're good writers, and definitely you can learn from them. So just wanted to promote them. It seems like they have a lot of work and plan. Even Tracy Winchell highlighted them. She wrote a really great article recently on journaling. I would encourage you to go check that out. So go sign up. I think a subscription will definitely pay for itself for you quickly. That's all for now. We'll see you in the Roamosphere.